Fast Forward Productions. The women are speaking.
Hello, and welcome back to The Unfiltered Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Ashley Pollard, and today we are talking about the difference between building a brand, a business, and a following. Now, these might feel like all of the same thing, especially if you're listening to all of the Instagram gurus who are telling you that in order to have a successful business, you must be posting every day on Instagram. And the pressure of that is like a little bit ridiculous because not everybody needs an Instagram following. Now, I do think the Instagram gurus have done one thing right. And what they've done is they have shared, you need to be where the people are. I want to be where the people are. Did I sound like Ariel? I hope so. My point here is that in order for you to use your marketing, use your social media as a strong marketing tool, you have to understand where your people are hanging out. For instance, a friend of mine runs an agency. They charge a lot of money because the work they do is very time intensive, laborious, and it's a costly expense to a business. And she was doing a lot of marketing on Instagram. She was doing all the things that the gurus would tell her to do. By the way, we're calling them the gurus from now on, okay? I have put that in motion today. Raise your hand if you like it. Okay, thanks. So, one thing that she has been doing is, posting a lot on social, paid ads, strong content, social media manager, the whole 9 yards. And what's interesting, no bites. And the thing is that, at the level that she's performing and the people who are the decision maker, the people who are really investing that money and making the decision, they are not finding people on Instagram. I believe they are finding people on LinkedIn. And so what I recommended to her is that she shift to LinkedIn off of Instagram because I really just didn't see it as a powerful marketing source for her. Another great example of this is Dial Zero Marketing, my marketing agency. We don't market on Instagram. You go to our Instagram right now, there's like 7 projects we haven't posted. You know why? We don't give a shit. We are doing our due diligence elsewhere, my guy. Like, we don't need Instagram, and you don't need Instagram. Now, what you do need is a marketing plan, and Instagram is a free marketing platform, so I suggest it. But if your people don't hang out there, then they don't hang out there. But also, you have to understand how to use Instagram based on your needs. Do you want a following, a brand, or a business? And I want to dive into the differences of those today, because if you don't know, then this might be hurting you in a way that you're not even aware of. So first, we're going to talk about building a brand. A brand overall has an identity. There is a public perception of the values and the mission and the personality behind this business. The primary goal of building a brand is that you want a strong and recognizable presence. It resonates with the target audience. They immediately understand who you are and what the goal is. There's an emotional connection there. There's trust. The difference here would be somebody who sells screwdrivers and somebody who sells eye masks like Dieux does, Dieux, great brand. Another great example is somebody like AS Colors who sells sweatshirts but does no brand building versus Mad Happy who is building a brand. They have specific colorways and art that they use, and they give back to a nonprofit, and they use specific verbiage. So building a brand here, it involves things like a really strong branding suite, a memorable logo, a really strategic art color suite, font suite. We want to have a unique brand voice when we're crafting a brand. And you want to utilize those elements across all marketing platforms, among sales, among products. Like, that brand that you're building should have an emotional component and really connect to a consumer. They should feel like they know and understand it, and that by purchasing the product, they're involved in the work that you're trying to do in a bigger scale. Building a brand is harder than people think. And a lot of times when people are talking about marketing on social media, they're talking about building a brand. That's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you are trying to market your business, you don't need to be marketing a brand. There is a clear difference. So if you're building a brand, you are someone that you want to be a thought leader in your space. You want to be someone that people are really talking to or talking about. You're creating chatter. but you're also talking about your values. You're bringing in moments of your personal life. You're letting yourself be seen. You're getting a lot of people engaging in the comments and meeting each other and laughing about inside jokes that you've developed with them. It's way more strategic to build a brand than it is to build a business. And a lot of you listening don't need a brand. You don't need a mission statement and values and persona and strong branding. You'd be perfectly fine with black, white, beige, and a couple colors and a standard font suite. You could do this in your sleep. You could do this in 4 minutes. Some of you don't need branding. You need a really great business marketing tool. And so let's move on to what it looks like to build a business. When you build a business and market a business, what you're really doing there is you're trying to market, these are our services. This is what we are trying to do from a work perspective. This is what the business stands for. This is how we want to achieve profit. This is how we serve our clients. This is what our clients are saying. When you're marketing a business, it's way less about like the flair and the story and the community. Very good business marketing does not need a community. You don't need to get people talking in the comments. You don't need to be posting daily. You don't need to be doing reels or dancing on your TikTok. Like, you don't need to be doing anything like that. You don't need to participate in trends. You simply go follow Dial Zero, see what we're doing. You simply need to say, these are our services. This is how we serve people. This is a sampling of people that we've served before. And you need to continue posting those things. If we were to do Dial Zero correctly, which I don't really care about Dial Zero, so it's not that big of a deal, but if we were to market it correctly, we would be posting testimonials consistently. We would be posting imagery. We'd be posting work that we've done / are doing. We would be doing a ton of other minutia. We would be, me saying a ton of minutia, you have no idea what that means. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Maybe sharing who is on the team and what they stand for. Deep dives into like the service process. So you're really being clear about, this is my work. This is how you work with us. It's perfectly fine to do that and only that. Now, if you think that the people who are decision makers that you are selling to are not really making that decision on Instagram, I would hike my cute little ass over to LinkedIn and start posting an article at least once a week and like engaging on some comments there, just because that visibility alone will help get you new referrals and new leads. The last one, building a following, this is way less about sales and way more about people buying into the ethos. So if we were to have like an escalation scale of like no values and ethics involved, some values and ethics involved, and all values and ethics involved, or like no personality, some personality, a lot of personality, it would go business is the lowest, brand is the middle, following is the highest. If you wanted to go sales focused, following would be the lowest, brand would be the middle, and business would be the highest. That probably doesn't make any sense. We'll make sure to put a post about this. Don't you fret. But yeah, so when you're building a following, the goal here is really to cultivate community. This is where you want to be the most vulnerable. This is where you're showing your life and what you're going through and what you're loving and recent purchases and travels. And, just like it's way more storytelling here. And you want to be engaging. You want to have shared passions, shared interests. But also you got to be in those DMs all fucking day, girl. Like, you got to be responding to everybody. In essence, you're making 100,000 new best friends because you are talking back to them in the comments and you're responding to them in DMs. And that's how you really build a following. And the goal there is that with that loyal and engaged community, maybe you can leverage that for a brand in the future, for a business in the future, for affiliate sales. It's really about being active on social media as much as possible, but in an authentic way, bringing them along on that journey with you and fostering that two-way conversation. So I bring this up to you not because I want to say like stop posting on Instagram. Post on Instagram, I don't really give a shit. I'm going to keep going. You should keep going. And what's interesting is that you can really see me do this in 3, technically 4 different ways. We're building a brand at Me Time. We're building a brand at Team AP Consulting. We have inside jokes. You get me, you know my family, you know what I'm about, you know who I'm dating sometimes. Like that happens at Team AP, and at Me Time, you definitely get a much more vulnerable peek at me. Well, you will soon. I don't think it's out yet. I'm not 100% sure, but you will soon see a much more vulnerable side of me at Me Time if it's not out yet. If you follow me personally at Ashley_P, I'm sharing my home. I'm sharing my nephews. I'm sharing my family. I'm sharing my friends. I'm sharing travels. I'm sharing me as a human. And then if you follow Dial Zero Marketing, you're going to see a lot of like promoting business services and reminding people of what we do and reminding people of the kind of business that we're trying to build here and scale scale and grow. And like I said, I don't bring this up to be like, don't be posting on Instagram. I bring this up to like really understand who you are and how you want to communicate that through your social media. Now, one of the nice things about a rebrand, especially if you're in the Team AP space where we do rebrands the right way, is that we are giving you so much more for free than we ever have. And you know that I give so much for free on the podcast and so much for free on my Instagram. Well, we're tripling down this year. One of the freebies that we have in the library, in the freebie library, is called The Art of Messaging. It's a 45-minute speech that I gave at my friend Ashley Bennington's conference in 2023. And I turned it into a live webinar. You can go watch it totally for free. It's there for you in case you want to learn a little bit more about your messaging strategy. How are you communicating your brand, your following, your personal brand, your business? How are you showing up authentically? And if you have a hard time really understanding how to put that into words, that freebie is really going to help you do that free webinar that honestly I should be charging hundreds of dollars for. One of the things that I want to bring into 2024 and that I want all of us to get a little bit better at is to take a look at some of the information that we're digesting. And before we process it, we need to first ask ourselves, is this person talking to me? Is this advice for me? Because if I said to you right now, you need a podcast, no questions asked, if you didn't want a podcast up until now, am I talking to you? Probably not. And I think that we have to take a little bit of ownership of that because there's so much pressure that I see people feeling. Everybody's telling me, well, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. The difference is that they may be speaking to their audience, but that message is for someone with a specific set of wants, needs, preferences. And there's too many people online to every single time tailor that to a human. So we have to take that responsibility. Are they talking to me? Do those line up with my wants? Do those line up with my needs? Do those line up with my preferences? So if I do say something like, you need to be hitting $100,000 by now, am I talking to you? And I want you to take that ownership a little bit because yes, you need to be posting every single day on Instagram, but not if you want to promote your business. Only if you want a brand and definitely if you want a following. If you want a following, you need to be posting more than once on Instagram a day. If you want a brand, I would say once a day, if not 3 times a week, 4 times a week. If you want to be building a business, never unless you need to. So I want you to start thinking about what kind of goals you're working towards, because if you don't know the goal you're working towards, you don't know the steps to get there. If someone put a staircase in front of me and said, go up that staircase, my question is going to be, where does it go? Where does it lead? So what I want you to do is know what you are trying to lead to so that if someone says that staircase takes you to the 4th floor and that staircase takes you to the 8th floor, you'll say, oh, well, I'm not going to the 4th floor. I'm going to the 8th floor, so I'm going to take that staircase. Owning that piece is so powerful because I know where I want to go, and I know that advice isn't going to get me there because that sounds like 4th floor advice, and I'm going to the 8th. And I'm not saying that about like one is higher than the other. I'm just choosing words, pulling shit out of my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're messy here. It's very serious business. All of that to say, if you want more information about building a business, building a brand, building a following, in my show notes, there's a link where you can send me a voice message. If you send in a voice message about building a brand, building a business, building a following, I'd be happy to answer that live here on the podcast. But guys, let's use our noggins in 2024, and let's really filter the messages that are coming my way because you don't have to be doing everything. And people have every right to tell you, you must be doing this because they passionately believe it, but they believe it for the person who wants a certain kind of result. Get clear on your results so that you can make that filter much quicker and you can say, that's not for me, even though that seems like great advice. Thank you, wish you the best. And you can actually start to see what kind of advice is right for you and what is not. That's what I wish for you, and I hope to see you next time on The Unfiltered Entrepreneur. Before we go, I'm inviting you on my mission to help female entrepreneurs, okay? I am a girl's girl, and I want to see every single one of you empowered, living your biggest and boldest life. And the easiest way for people to access free information and a community of like-minded women is by sharing this podcast. Leave a review on Apple, rate us on Spotify, but more than anything, if you liked this episode, please take a screenshot, share it to Instagram, and tag us so we know that you are loving loving the content, but also other people can see that you are an entrepreneur who is focused on her game. Now remember, the motto of the Team AP space is, it's not hard, it's new. And if nobody has told you this, I want you to remember, you've got this. Entrepreneurship is hard. I love you, I believe in you, and I am so grateful to be in service of you, whether free or paid. And until next time, stay focused, babes.